In the past, I wouldn't have said that I was very self-critical or that I didn't trust myself. But I have had a closet full of other people's opinions and preferences that proves otherwise. Okay. So, recently I have had some major changes, major switch ups in my wardrobe, and I wanted to share some of those updates with you guys and also some of the clarity that I feel like I've gained from majorly cutting down my wardrobe. Now, all of this started because of a wooden wardrobe. Not like your closet, but wardrobe, spare a wooden piece of furniture wardrobe. I was at the Restore the other day, Habitat for Humanity, God bless her, and I was perusing, as one does, and I came across this beautiful antique wardrobe. It was in immaculate condition for its age. It was small and simple, and when you opened up the doors, it just smelled like real wood. It had mirrors on the front, and then when you opened, there was a small section for hanging clothes, and then maybe like 4 or 5 shelves for folded things. And it was also pretty deep, so maybe you could keep some extra things down in the bottom, things that you didn't immediately need. But anyways, I loved this wardrobe. The minute that I saw it, I started taking pictures of it, sending them to my husband. It was only $100, which is not a small price to pay for a piece of furniture, but for what it was, I've never come across a truly antique wardrobe like that in that type of condition for that price. So it felt like something that was typically unattainable was suddenly within my reach. $100 seemed possible. And so I was texting my husband like, hey, can we get this? And he was like, will you get rid of all the clothes that don't fit into it? And immediately my heart was like, yes, I will. I will get rid of everything. And we didn't end up getting it. We just don't have space for it. It would have been like me putting it into the walk-in closet that we currently have. And so I'm just trusting that somewhere in the distant future, a wardrobe of a similar type will come into my life and I'll have space for it then. So that's fine. But seeing that wardrobe sparked something inside of me. I don't know what it was, but it was like I had this deep core memory come out. If you've seen Inside Out, you know. I had this core memory come out of being a child and loving any sort of story where there was simplicity or hardship or minimal living. I think kids do that a lot, right? They romanticize hardship and challenge and adventure, and a lot of our imaginary games as kids revolve around that. But I just remember being a kid and loving any sort of book or story where there was a list of like things that a person was packing. 1 sweater, 2 skirts, 3 pairs of shoes, that type of thing. And just being so drawn to this idea of a compact and knowable entity, particularly in relation to clothing. I really loved that growing up, even to the point where my husband thinks I'm super weird. I don't know what to tell you. This is just what's true of me. When I was a kid, I used to watch I Love Lucy, and then later as I grew up, Friends and Gilmore Girls, and I would literally, you guys are really gonna know me at the end of this. I would literally write down the outfits that Lucy was wearing. So she would come on the screen, she would be wearing a particular outfit, I would pause it, and I would write down 1 white blouse, 1 A-line skirt, 1 pair of stockings. I would assume about the underwear, I would write it down, and whatever shoes she would be wearing, I would mark it. I would keep watching, and in the next scene, whenever she was wearing a new outfit, I would do the same thing. Lorelai Gilmore, I have lists of hers. Rachel Green, I have lists of hers. But I particularly remember doing it with I Love Lucy because of how young I was and because of how naturally it came from me. And I think that there is something very special and very profound or clarifying about the things that we did as kids before anyone told us what to do. The things that we just naturally chose to do as children. I feel like that can really, really tell us something about what we prefer, about what we like, before everyone's opinions come in and start muddling up all of that information. And so when I saw that wardrobe, I had this profound revelation of like, oh, maybe I really do deeply and inherently, separate from any sort of minimalist movement, separate from any sort of thing that I've seen online, maybe I really would appreciate having a more condensed and confined wardrobe. Maybe that's something that I really would get pleasure out of and really enjoy. And so when I came home from that Habitat for Humanity, I had a fire lit in my belly, and I just didn't feel attached to a lot of the clothing in my closet the way that I had before. I have been in the habit of decluttering my wardrobe and culling things down and trying to think intentionally and carefully about the things that I own and the things that I've purchased. I've been in that process for a while, so it isn't new for me, but something had also changed. Something was different this time around. I think in the past, my maybe pile was always there and its hold was strong. My fear of what might happen if I let go of those things far outweighed any sort of benefit that I could see in getting rid of them. So I would get rid of the clear no's, but the maybes would stick around, and then I would continue to shop and add things that were sometimes intentional and sometimes not so much. And so my closet just stayed in this place of having just a little bit too much, of having not just the things that I love and use all the time, but all of those extra little bits, those fear-laden things that I'm like, if I get rid of this, what if I need it? Or what if I change sizes and I want to have these pants again? Or what about the money that I spent on them? Or, well, all of these things work about this item, so maybe I'll find a use for it in the future. It was that kind of stuff. And my closet was clogged with it. It really, really was. And so when I came home from the restore, I just started to move through my clothes. I just started to look at everything and pick out the things that I actually loved and actually wear and put those into my closet. And then I just started to let go of the other stuff. Now, I will say I do have one bin of stuff, basket, bin, zipper, compartment, under the bed storage. I have one sort of under the bed storage thing for summer stuff, and then I have one that is like a maybe pile, technically a purgatory type of situation, because I'm trying to balance a lot of things here in my life in relation to my closet. One of those things is taking responsibility for the stuff that I have purchased in the past, and not just decluttering because it feels good to declutter, just being wise, making sure that I'm sure. It's a balance, really. Like, it's a balance between letting yourself feel how good it feels to only have what you use and love, and also to allow yourself to feel what it is to have made poor choices in the past, and not in a like, I'm gonna punish myself kind of way, but in just a responsible, I'm an adult kind of way. And so yeah, I did let go of a lot of things. I also did a major purge of the stuff that I was trying to sell on Poshmark. I realized that that was also something that was really kind of clogging and cluttering up my mind and putting a lot of pressure. It was like that silent to-do list thing. I just let a lot of that stuff go. I took it to Plato's Closet. I took it to some other consignment shops in our area, and I kept a small under the bed bin of things that I'm gonna wait and see about, basically. But I made sure that the things that were in my closet and in my dresser were actually things that were on heavy rotation. And guys, I can't describe to you, I've been living with that closet for the past month or two, and I can't describe to you the difference in my experience with my clothing. I can't describe to you. So this is the end of the video. I think in the past, I've always decluttered to a point, but I've never decluttered past that point. Well, just in terms of my clothes. In terms of my closet, I've never decluttered to the point of really experiencing the benefits of having less. I've done that in other areas of my life. My kitchen, for instance, I feel like is pretty pared back, and we just have the things that we actually use and need, and it feels great. We're not maintaining more than that. But I think with my closet, I've just never decluttered past that point where I could really fully experience all the benefits of having a smaller wardrobe until now. And everything that people say is true. Everything that you've heard is true. At least it is for me. I love having a smaller closet. I love having less and just wearing again and again and again my favorite things. And I'm not afraid about them wearing out. I think that is a big kind of qualm that people can have. Oh, the light just really changed. I feel like that's a big qualm that people can have about only having a handful of t-shirts, for instance. Someone might say, well, those are going to wear out really quickly and you're going to need to replace them. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having less, really just wearing it down to the bone, getting all the benefits, the peace and the calm, the decision fatigue gone. I'm so willing. I'm so willing to make that exchange, to have all of those benefits and to wear through my clothes and then look for other favorites. I'm excited about that. Something has changed about my attachment even to the things that I am keeping. I feel more of a open-handedness with them, a lightness, an easy grip. I'm not attached to the things that I let go of. Clearly, I'm not really that attached to the things in my maybe pile. If they work, that's wonderful. I want to have them and keep them if I can. And if not, I will try to responsibly rehome them. And I have a lighter grip, a looser grip on the things that are in my closet currently. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but it's so different than how I used to approach clothing and shopping in the past. And guys, you all know that I've really struggled with overconsumption and with shopping and window shopping, even just shopping behaviors being a soothing tactic for me. It's all just falling away. I won't say that it's all like just gone. Those deeply trodden paths, those deeply rehearsed behavioral patterns in me, those things don't just go away overnight. I've not felt the draw to window shop in the same way. I've been much more satisfied. I've been much more inclined to be here in my real life, as opposed to somewhere out there in the internet ether trying to craft some sort of fantasy life or fantasy identity. I'm happy to be here. Something about the boundaries of a smaller wardrobe, boundaries that I've established, but allowing myself to have less, allowing myself to be content with what I have, it's transforming my experience of my day-to-day life. I'm really glad that I saw that wardrobe. Seeing that wardrobe and having that revelation about my desire for less, that my desire for less has been there since I was a child. It's just really provided a lot of clarity. And I wanted to share one of the things that I feel like I've learned from this thing that has happened. It's a couple things, actually. Okay, so one of the things that has become blatantly obvious to me, for me, is that there will always be another thing to want. There will always be another thing to want. If your stopping shopping, if my stopping shopping is contingent on completing the picture, whatever that means, completing the picture of a perfect wardrobe, getting that one last thing that's gonna top off our closet or finish off our makeup collection or just make our living room perfect, we will be going forever. We will never reach the end of things to want. In my experience, that is a hamster wheel that will keep you running forever and will take you nowhere. And for anyone who has been in the habit of over-consuming or is in the habit of over-consuming, you know it is exhausting. It is exhausting to want and want and want and to never come to the end. We want, and then even when we get the thing that we want, then our brain just shifts and looks for something else to desire. It's nonstop. And I think the mistake is thinking that if we get all the things that we want, that then we will be happy. I know that might be a hard pill to swallow. I know it was for me. It took me so many years to unlearn this thing, this idea that having all the things that we want will make us happy, that we will be able to get to the end, that we will be able to complete the picture. Now, you might be thinking of some particular things that do bring you joy. And I do think that's true. I think stuff, things, material things, they can be beautiful and they can bring us joy. But the mistake is thinking that getting all of the things that we want is the key. I picture us each kind of standing at like a barrel of our wants, like a big old barrel, a wooden barrel of the things that we want. And we're just like rifling through them. We're just rifling and trying to get to the bottom, like satisfy this one, satisfy this one, satisfy this one. And we think that if we can just empty the barrel, then we will be done. If we can just empty the barrel of all the things that we want, then we will be done. Then we can finally sit down and rest. But the secret is, the thing that the marketing execs don't want you to know, is that you can step away from the barrel at any time. We can step away at any time. In fact, if we turn around, there's a big old couch right behind us, a big comfy couch, and we can sit down and rest right now. We can stop wanting right now, or at least stop rifling through the barrel and being in that hamster wheel of exhausting consumption. We can just sit down and look at the barrel and be with our wants without scrambling around to try and meet them all right this second. Emptying the barrel is not what equals happiness. There will always be something else to want. Having enough, being done, is a decision, and we just have to make it. And then the other realization that I've had recently as a result of having a smaller closet is that allowing your preferences to count is a choice. Let your personal style be legitimate. So often when we're trying to find our personal style, or when we're trying to feel good in our clothes, we look outside of ourselves for inspiration. We go out there to look for tips and style hacks. Sometimes it just feels easier to have someone else tell us what to wear and what to buy. And I think a little bit of that is okay, but at least in my experience, I feel like it's very easy for us to go overboard. It's really easy for the search for inspiration to go overboard, and for us to end up feeling more confused and disempowered at the end of that search, and almost like even farther away from feeling good in our clothing. And I think that that is because we are treating the people out there, the influencers, the brands, whoever it is that we're seeking inspiration from, we're treating them as though they are the experts. And I do think that some of them are and some of them aren't. But I think the point is that we are thinking of them as the experts, and automatically that places us in the position of amateur. We are the amateurs when it comes to style, and they are the experts. We look at influencers and celebrities and stylish people, and we think that they know something that we don't. They've got a secret, and we need them to let us in on what it is. But the only thing that those influencers can tell you is the secret of what has worked for them. That's all they can tell you. What's worked for their body and their budget and their lifestyle. And that secret is hugely limited because they are not us and we are not them. More likely than not, we have a different body and different lifestyle needs and a different budget, and the list goes on and on and on. And this is harmful in so many ways, in part because if we start purchasing off of influencer recommendations and what Vogue says is trending, and then our purchases don't work out, they don't fit our life or our body or our budget, then all that we're left with is, I must be doing something wrong. I still must be lacking the secret. I still must not know the thing that is going to make me stylish because they're the experts and they told me this would work. I must not have made enough purchases. I need to purchase a few more things to round out my closet. I just need to fill in the basics, or maybe I'm lacking a statement piece. It's all about something that we're missing, that we're not getting right. And then what we do is we find ourselves Googling, what are the best basics to have? What are the wardrobe essentials? What are on-trend statement pieces? And there we are again, having someone else telling us what to buy and what is necessary for us to have. And the cycle goes on and on and on. And we end up feeling bad in our clothes. But the expert said that they were good. The expert said that these things would make us feel stylish. Why isn't that happening? Here's my suggestion as an alternative to that. Give permission for your style opinions, your style preferences to be legitimate. Now, a lot of thoughts and feelings might be popping up. I don't have style. I don't have good style. I don't know what my personal style is. I'm still trying to find it. I will counter with this. No matter how we feel, we do have a style. And this is how I define personal style: having specific preferences about the fit, feel, and look of clothing. Whatever those preferences are, that is your style. That is your personal style, because no one else is going to have the same preferences, the same specific ideas about the fit, feel, and look of clothing. And the second component of personal style is your lifestyle, the kind of clothing that you need to function in your life. So I would argue that the problem is not that we don't have a personal style, but that we have continuously and chronically belittled that sense of style to almost nothingness. Our sense of style is like cowering over there in the corner, because every time it's tried to come out, we say, you don't matter. You don't know anything. You're just an amateur. The experts are the stylish ones. Year after year after year, we look at the trends list and we're like, oh, well, skinny jeans are out. I guess I'm gonna have to give up all of my favorite jeans. And our sense of style kind of like peeks its head out and is like, oh, well, actually, I really like skinny jeans. And we turn to it and say, you don't count. You don't know what you're talking about. Your preferences don't count. The powers that be determine what's fashionable, not you. And I'm using this hyperbolic illustration to make a point, but more often than not, this habit of delegitimizing our sense of style is way more subtle and insidious than I'm depicting here. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not big when it takes place. It happens in little choices that we make to siphon off our decision making to the experts, to perpetually seek external inspiration and validation for our clothing choices, to chronically ignore our personal style preferences in favor of whatever is in vogue. Now, if you, like me, have spent years ignoring those personal style preferences, silencing that inner voice, then it might take time for it to start to speak up again and for you to become attuned to what it sounds like. So here's what I'm doing to try to reconnect to my personal preferences and sense of style. It might seem kind of simple, but it's kind of the point. Every day when I get dressed, I am trying to pay attention to how I feel in the clothes that I'm wearing. Am I loving the color? Is the material scratchy? Does it sit on my body the way that I want it to? Do I feel like myself? And I am treating those thoughts, those preferences, as legitimate, as the most legitimate and the most factual information that I have about what is stylish for me. So take, for instance, this sweater. When I put it on, I like the stripe. I like the color combination. I like the laid back feeling of it, but something is off. The material is not high quality. I think that it is not made with natural fibers, and it's really kind of gotten pilly. I got it secondhand off of Poshmark, so it was already pretty worn and it just hasn't aged well. And so every time I put it on, I feel a little bit drab and a little bit run down. I also noticed that the neckline is just slightly wider than I like. I like my crew neck to be a little bit higher up, a little bit tighter. Now, the old me would have said, you're being picky. Those are not legitimate preferences. Those are not legitimate reasons to not wear a thing. Those are not legitimate reasons to get rid of a thing. And you like this and this and this about the sweater, remember? You should keep it. But the new me has decided that how I feel in an item of clothing is the most legitimate and the most factual information that I have. And so it trumps all of those other thoughts. It trumps all of those other reasons. I am saying to myself, each time I put on clothing, you know what you're talking about. You know what you like. And I'm encouraging, hopefully, with each outfit, that little voice, that little sense of personal style that's over there in the corner, I'm encouraging it to come out and speak up. You're legitimate. You know what you're talking about. You know what you prefer. And I'm going to let you speak. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm going around and throwing away every single item of clothing that doesn't make me feel like Beyonce, because I know that some days I'm just not going to feel like that no matter what I'm wearing. And so I'm not just getting rid of things willy-nilly. I'm giving things time and space to really determine if those preferences are true and unrelated to outside factors. But just in general, I'm trying to practice this habit of re-legitimizing, I don't know if that's a word, but giving legitimacy back to myself, to my own preferences, to my own sense of what is stylish for me, what looks good on me, what I like. So I have gone through my whole closet at this point. I've separated out those items of clothing that are 10 out of 10. They check all of the boxes for me. And I can guarantee that if someone else went through my closet, they may not be able to pick out the things that are 10 out of 10. It's not like those items that are 10 out of 10 are always the best things that I own, or the most perfect things that I own, or the newest things that I own. Some of them are worn, some of them are holy, but it's more about the feeling. They are something that I like and something that I like enough to wear. I think that that is the biggest piece of it. I wear the things that I like. We all do, I think. And that's where the whole statistic comes from. We wear 20% of our closets 80% of the time. That was definitely true for me. I had all that stuff, but I wasn't wearing it. And all that has happened in this process, I think, is that I just no longer have that extra stuff in my closet, acting as though it is an option for me when it really isn't. I only have things in my closet that are an option. And that means that I have rehomed things that are legitimately nice and good quality and good condition, but they weren't for me. I wasn't wearing them. And so they don't deserve a spot in my closet. In the past, I wouldn't have said that I was very self-critical or that I didn't trust myself. But I have had a closet full of other people's opinions and preferences that proves otherwise. As I've sorted through my clothing, I can tell that I've spent years distrusting myself, siphoning off my decision-making power to outside sources. I want someone else to tell me what's cool, to tell me what to buy, to tell me what I should like, what I should prefer. And there are a lot of things that are sad about that. But one of them is the fact that buying the thing doesn't mean that you're going to wear it. Having someone tell you what to buy and then you buying it isn't going to make you wear it or make it work for your life. I found that, at least for me, those purchases, a lot of those purchases went severely underused and neglected. And it's better now for me to have rehomed them, to have someone else using them who is going to love them, who's going to look at that piece and say, you are a 10 out of 10 and want to wear it all the time. That's so much better than it just sitting in my closet, making me feel bad for my poor decision making. In the past, I really didn't trust myself to know what was cool or harmonious or interesting. I didn't trust myself to know what I liked. I had a closet full of shoulds. You should like this. You should wear this. You should have this type of style. Everyone needs a black blazer, right? That old classic white button down. Gotta have one of those. But it's just not true. It's just not true, at least for me. I am much, much happier now and much more content with the clothing that I own. I feel so much better getting dressed in the day to day, just releasing myself to wear the same outfit over and over again if I want to, or the same handful of outfits. I love that I've given myself permission to have enough, for the clothes that I have to be enough. And I think it's going to make the times when I do choose to add something in just that much sweeter. Okay, I just had to tell you guys. It's been so good. But that's it. That's everything. If you guys have ever experimented with a smaller wardrobe, if you do have a smaller wardrobe currently, or if you have a larger wardrobe and you love it, I just want you to tell me all your experiences. Comment below. Let me know if you've found the wardrobe sweet spot for yourself. I want to hear about it. Okay, I'm going to go reheat my coffee for the 5th time today and hopefully drink it before my baby wakes up. It's good to have goals, isn't it? It's good to really strive for something.